Alright, this is target 1C, finding the x and y intercepts. So let's start with the x-intercept. To find the x-intercept, remember you let y equal 0, and you solve for x. So this f of x is really just y. So we have y equals x to the 12th over x minus 16. And I'm going to replace the y with 0. So x to the 12th over x minus 16. And I'm going to put this over 1, so it looks like a fraction. Now I need to move this to the other side. So this is dividing by x minus 16. So I'm going to do the opposite of dividing by x minus 16. I'm going to multiply by x minus 16 on both sides here. And these x minus 16s cancel, and I have 0 times x minus 16, which is just going to be 0. So I end up with 0 equaling x to the 12th. And then to solve for the 12th root, or to solve x to the 12th, I have to do the opposite of raising to the 12th, which is taking the root, the 12th root. So I'm going to take the 12th root of both sides. I get x, and the 12th root of 0 is just 0. So I get x equals 0. So my x-intercept is 0, 0. So because my x-intercept is 0, and to find the x-intercept, the y value is always 0, it's 0, 0. So this means this is also one of the y-intercepts. But there might be another y-intercept, so we need to double check and make sure if there's more than one, we need to find all of them. Okay, so I'm going to switch colors. And I'm going to go with blue. And to find the y-intercept, you let x equal 0, and you solve for y. So we have y equals x to the 12th over x minus 16. So I'm going to replace x with 0. So I have 0 to the 12th over 0 minus 16. And that's 0, because 0 to the 12th is just 0, and 0 minus 16 is negative 16. And 0 divided by negative 16 is just 0. So my y-intercept is 0, 0. So that's it. My x-intercept is 0, 0. My y-intercept is 0, 0. And there's no other intercepts to worry about. Okay, let's look at problem number 2. Again, to find the x-intercept, I'm going to let x equal 0. Sorry, to find the x-intercept, I'm going to let y equal 0. And I'm going to solve for x. So I have y, remember this is just y, so I have 0 equals 15 minus root x plus 9. Now I have to get the square root by itself. It's called isolating the radical. So I'm going to subtract 15 from both sides. So I have negative 15 equals negative the square root of x plus 9. Now to undo a square root, I have to square both sides. So I'm going to square this side, and I'm going to square this side. I also could have divided by the negative first if I wanted to, but when I square, I'm going to take care of the negative, so I'm not going to worry about doing that. But negative 15 squared is 225, and negative the square root of x plus 9 squared is just x plus 9. So then I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides, and I get x equals 225 minus 9, which is 216. So my x-intercept is 216, and then remember we had to let y equal 0, so my y value is 0. So this is my x-intercept. Now to find my y-intercept, I'm going to let x equal 0 and solve for y. So I have y equals 15 minus x plus 9, but I'm going to replace the x with 0. So I have y equals 15 minus 0 plus 9, and the square root of 9 happens to be 3. So I get y equals 15 minus 3, which is 12. So my y-intercept is 0, because we let x equal 0, and then the y value I got was 12. So this is my y-intercept, and my x-intercept was 216. Okay, now I do need to point out that this worked out to be a perfect square, so I could take the square root of it. If this had been like 15 minus 6, root 6, then I would have left the answer as 15 minus root 6. Okay, so when you do your practice problem, there's one that works out that way. Okay, so find the x and y intercepts. For this problem, let me get my red pen. For the x-intercept, so remember for the x-intercept, I let y equals 0, and I find x. So again, this is the y, so I get 0 equals x minus 7 squared minus 8. So I have to get the x by itself. So to do that, I'm going to add 8 to both sides. I have 8 equals x minus 7 squared. Now I could FOIL this out and do some factoring, but that's harder than just taking the square root of both sides. I can undo a square by just square rooting. So I'm going to square root this and square root this. So on the left hand side I get plus or minus the square root of 8. And here I get x minus 7. Now that square root of 8 needs some extra work. So the square root of 8 is 2 times 4, and 4 is 2 times 2. So this looks like root 4 times root 2, which is 2 root 2. So 8 is plus or minus 2 root 2, and that equals x minus 7. So I'm going to add 7 to both sides, and I break this off. I get x equals 7 plus or minus 2 root 2. So my roots are 7 plus 2 root 2, comma 0, and 7 minus 2 root 2, comma 0. All right, let's find the y-intercept. To find the y-intercept, I'm going to let x equal 0, and I'm going to find y. So I have y equals x minus 7, but I'm going to replace x with 0, minus 8. So 0 minus 7 is negative 7, and negative 7 squared is positive 49, and 49 minus 8 is 41. So my y-intercept is 0, because I let x equal 0, and 41 for the y value, so 0, 41. And my x's were 7 plus 2 root 2, 0, and 7 minus 2 root 2, 0. Okay, now you have to do 3 practice problems of your own. You have to show them either to myself or to a math lab teacher to show that you know how to do it, and then you can do your retake. Good luck. So here's the first problem. You have to find the x and y intercepts for this problem. You can pause and do it, or you can just watch them all and write them down and then do them. It's up to you. Okay, number 2 is this one. Find the x and y intercepts. And again, number 3, find the x and y intercepts. All right, good luck.